In a large mansion surrounded by well-kept gardens lived Mr. Ricardo Vargas, one of the richest men in the country. Widowed for many years, he devoted all his attention and affection to his eldest daughter, Elena. Elena was elegant, extroverted, confident, and always knew how to charm her father with her business skills and striking presence. Ricardo saw in her the perfect continuation of his empire. His youngest daughter, Sofia, 24 years old, was completely different. Shy, sensitive, observant, and with a huge heart, Sofia passed almost invisible inside her own home. Since she was a child, she carried a silent pain that few noticed. As a little girl, she would sit for hours on the stairs of the mansion, listening to her father laugh loudly with Elena in the office, telling stories of trips and business deals. Sofia waited for her turn, but the turn never came. She remembered birthdays when Elena received big parties, expensive gifts, and emotional speeches from their father. Sofia, on the other hand, received a simple happy birthday and a gift delivered by the nanny. Phrases like "Elena has grit," "You need to learn to be stronger," or "Why can't you be like your sister?" were said so naturally that they cut Sofia's heart like sharp blades. Even so, Sofia never complained openly. She grew up learning to smile on the outside while crying on the inside. Every night before bed, she would open an old notebook with a worn cover and write in delicate handwriting, "One day, my father will see me with his heart, not just with his eyes." The longing for her mother, who had passed away when she was little, was her constant companion. Sofia felt that, along with her mother, part of her father's love had also gone. The only person who truly saw her was Clara, her former nanny, who still lived in the mansion. Clara would hug her tightly and say softly, "You are a delicate flower, Sofia." Not every flower needs to shout to be beautiful. Some perfume the environment just with their presence. Sofia worked as a social worker at a small institution supporting orphan children. There, she felt valued. The children called her Aunt Sofia and ran into her arms. It was the only place where she didn't feel like the extra daughter. Her father, however, considered this work a waste of time and almost never asked how her day had been. At Elena's 28th birthday dinner, the mansion was lit up and full of important guests. Ricardo raised his glass and announced loudly, with pride stamped on his face, "Elena will be the new vice president of the company. She deserves it. She has always been my greatest pride." Everyone applauded. Sofia also clapped, with a gentle smile on her face. But inside, something broke once again. She felt her chest tighten, as if the air had become thin. After the guests left, she slowly climbed the stairs, entered her room, and closed the door. Sitting on the edge of the bed, Sofia let the tears roll freely. She covered her face with her hands and cried softly, so no one would hear. The pain of constant rejection weighed on her shoulders like a stone. Even so, deep in her chest, a small flame of courage and hope still resisted. She wiped away the tears, took a deep breath, and whispered to herself, "One day they will see. I know they will." Months later, an unexpected crisis shook Ricardo's company. A major international partnership went wrong, generating huge losses and threatening the stability of thousands of employees. Ricardo, used to controlling everything, fell into despair. Elena, pressured by the responsibility, began to have anxiety attacks and could not find a solution. The mansion, once full of pride, now echoed with raised voices and slamming doors. Sofia watched everything in silence. Her heart ached to see her father aging with worry and her sister, always so strong, falling apart. Although she had never been invited to the important meetings, she had spent years observing, taking notes, and feeling every detail. One night, after another tense dinner, Sofia could no longer bear it. With trembling hands and her chest tight with fear, she gathered all the courage she had stored up during years of rejection. She knocked on her father's office door with her heart in her mouth. "Dad, I have a proposal. I know you've never listened to me before, but please, give me just 5 minutes." Ricardo, exhausted and irritated, almost dismissed her with a gesture. His tired eyes showed doubt. Sofia felt the old lump in her throat return, the same one from when she was a child, and was ignored. Tears threatened to fall, but she took a deep breath and began to speak. Her voice came out shaky at first, but gained strength as she explained her idea to create a social responsibility project that would show the human side of the company, attracting new partners and restoring trust. Elena watched in surprise, almost incredulous. To everyone's astonishment, Ricardo, even reluctantly, allowed Sofia to lead a small test of the project. In the following days, Sofia threw herself completely into the work. She faced sleepless nights, veiled criticism from directors who looked at her with contempt, and the crushing weight of having to prove her worth. Many times, alone in the improvised office, she cried softly from exhaustion and insecurity, asking herself if she was being foolish for trying. What if I fail? What if he rejects me again? She thought. But then she remembered the orphan children she helped and found the strength to continue. It was during this period of emotional exhaustion that she met Lucas, the young architect responsible for the renovation project of the social spaces. Lucas saw beyond Sofia. He admired her silent determination, her fidelity to values, and her ability to love even after so much suffering. Between coffees, at 3 a.m, and honest conversations in the garden, a pure and respectful love was born. On a rainy night, Lucas held her hand and said softly, "Sofia, you carry an enormous pain inside you, but also a light that few have. You no longer need to carry this alone." His words made Sofia cry on his shoulder for the first time. It was the first time someone had seen her pain and not judged her. The crisis deepened. Ricardo became seriously ill from so much stress and had to be hospitalized in a hurry. In the cold, white hospital room, seeing her fragile father connected to machines, Sofia felt her heart break. Elena was also there, with deep dark circles under her eyes. For the first time, the two sisters had a real conversation. Elena, with a choked voice, confessed, "I always thought I needed to be the best to be loved, but now I see how much you suffered alone." Sofia held her sister's hand, tears streaming down her face, and replied, "I just wanted him to love us the same way, but I never stopped loving you, Elena." The two hugged each other crying, slowly healing years of emotional distance. The project led by Sofia began to yield surprising results. The company's image recovered. New partners arrived, attracted by the honesty and purpose of the work. Ricardo, still recovering, followed everything from his hospital bed. Elena, who had always been the center of attention, finally acknowledged, "I thought I needed to be perfect to be loved, but you, Sofia, love even when you are not seen. Forgive me for not noticing your pain." The two sisters cried together, hugging each other for the first time in many years. The bond of blood, which had seemed weak, grew stronger through shared suffering. When Ricardo was discharged, he asked to speak with Sofia alone. With a choked voice, the man who seemed to have a heart of stone finally opened up. "I was wrong, my daughter. I was afraid you would be fragile like your mother. I thought that by protecting you from pressure, I was sparing you. But in reality, I abandoned you. You have always been the strongest of us both. Forgive a proud and blind father." Sofia, with tears streaming down, held her father's hand. "I forgive you, Dad. I have always waited for this moment. I don't want your money or the company. I just want your love. The real one." Ricardo pulled his daughter into a long and heartfelt embrace. For the first time, he cried in front of her, sobbing like a child. The chest that had always seemed made of iron trembled with emotion. In the following months, the entire family rebuilt itself. Elena and Sofia began to work together, respecting each other's differences. Ricardo, more humble, started having dinner with his daughters every night, listening to Sofia talk about her work with orphan children and feeling true pride. On the day of Sofia's wedding to Lucas, the mansion's garden was filled with white flowers and soft lighting. Ricardo, with moist eyes, walked his youngest daughter down the aisle. Before handing her over, he stopped, held her face with both hands, and said with a faltering voice, "Sofia, my little girl, for so many years, I looked without seeing. You carried alone a pain that I caused. Today I ask your forgiveness in front of everyone. You were not second. You have always been the purest light in this house. I love you, daughter. I love you the way you deserve to be loved." Sophia cried profusely, resting her forehead on her father's chest. For the first time in her life, she felt the warmth of an embrace that was not out of obligation, but out of true love. During the ceremony, Elena held her sister's hand and smiled through tears. Lucas looked at Sophia with devotion, promising in his heart to be the man she always deserved. At the end of the night, the three father and two daughters hugged each other for a long time under the starry sky. Ricardo whispered, "Thank you for not giving up on me, Sophia. You saved not only the company, you saved our family." From that day on, the mansion stopped being just a big, cold house. It became a home full of laughter, sincere conversations, forgiveness, and unity. Sophia, finally seen and loved, blossomed. And love, when it is true, patient, and faithful, always triumphs over the wounds of the past. Many parents make the mistake of loving only what they see shine, ignoring the silent glow that is beside them. Every child deserves to be seen, valued, and loved for who they are, not by comparison. Rejection leaves deep scars, but forgiveness and the courage to continue loving can heal even the oldest wounds. Never underestimate the power of those who love in silence. One day, that love transforms everything. If you are moved by this story, subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell, and leave your like. Share in the comments which part touched your heart the most.